Morgans are natural driving horses. I think that it is interesting that on the whole, with a driving horse, you want a horse that steps, because you don't want a horse that trips.
No.
In the old days, you were going along rough, cobbled streets and roads with potholes. And if you have the kind of low action of an Arab or a thoroughbred, you could easily catch your feet and trip. And that's where I think the fashion first came for driving horses that step. And then I think it became a fashion issue as well. The people who went out in Rotten Row in their phaetons to be seen and to see other people, they wanted something that looked stylish.
Yes.
And people in London who went round in their hackney cabs, they wanted something that was stylish and didn't trip. And that's where the fashion came in for driving horses that stepped. And what's interesting about the Morgans is we brought Morgans from America, and they were perfect horses for driving in England because the style of driving hasn't really changed over the last 100 years. Whereas in riding, it's completely changed. If you look at the old prints of people in riding out in Rotten Row, they were riding just as we ride our Morgans, with not breeches and boots. That was considered the dress of a stableman. They were wearing long trousers, suitable, as explained by one writer, suitable for the transition from horse to drawing room.
I see.
That you would go and visit somebody, and you'd get off your horse and you would go into their drawing room, and you wouldn't want to be wearing a stableman's outfit when you did that. You'd want to be looking smart. So that, there were no classes in England you could put riding horses into that they were suitable for, because a good Morgan would not be a good hunter. So if you won a hunter class, it meant you had a bad Morgan, and it would very quickly encourage people to breed bad Morgans. So that's, again, why we felt it was very important to have riding classes for Morgans. I think Morgans are very intelligent horses, and they will respond to training, so they can learn to do most things. I think, again, that there's a tendency in America to train them in straight lines because they're going to the show ring. But Morgans can do very well in dressage. I think that the European dressage at the moment tends to require a degree of extension at the expense of elevation, which Morgans would find hard because they are elevated horses.
Yep.
But I think at the very top levels, the judges are more flexible. But a lot of medium levels, the dressage tests are designed for horses that are built more like thoroughbreds.
Yep.
And whilst Morgans are good at it and they can do it, what the judges may be looking for is something a little different. But Morgans can certainly do all those things because they're intelligent and they're trained right. They can be very able in that way. Well, Morgans can do most things. I would not, I mean, Morgans can hunt, for example. I wouldn't propose bringing a Morgan over from America to turn it into a hunter, because we've been breeding hunters in Britain for years and we've probably got what we want. But certainly if you want something small that can do all of that. But most of all, they're like the old-fashioned parade horses. If you look at pictures of Charles I on horseback, or Napoleon, or any of the emperors, they wanted a horse that would show them off and make them look a real swell. It was in the days before there were newspapers or television, and if you were a leader, you would want to go out in a crowd and be seen by people, and you'd need to be up above the crowd looking good. So being on a kind of parade horse makes you look pretty good. Yes, I mean, a Morgan can do all the things that you want of a hunter. They are small I would say a Morgan is too small for most adults, for hunters, because at around 15 hands, Morgans are great for hunting for children, but you would not want to be leaping great 5-bar gates all day.
No.
So that, as I say, the English have been breeding horses for hunting, but Morgans are horses that can adapt to most things.
And you mentioned previously about them being used for dressage. They don't quite have the extension of some other horses, but they're actually very capable of going through the paces, doing the lateral movements, and going in the correct outline.
Morgans do very well at driven dressage and in FEI driving.
Yes.
As we were saying, the ridden dressage does require more extension than most Morgans would have, in the same way that a Lipizzaner, although I've seen Lipizzanas doing dressage, they probably wouldn't win at high levels because they have elevation but they don't have enough extension.
No.
But Morgans are an eclectic breed. They do vary quite a bit, and some Morgans have done well, particularly even a Morgan Thoroughbred Cross. I've known them to get to Grand Prix level.
Oh wow.
So it can be done. But in driving, I think Morgans have got all the characteristics to be an ideal driving horse, both as a private drive or show horse and as an FEI horse.
It's only the second time that Sophie's ridden a Morgan horse, so a bit of a baptism of fire, but she's doing incredibly well.
There you go. And walk on. Soft rein. Good. And this leg. That's it. Just walking. Good. Good. Sit back and just come up into the jig. Good. No more speed. Just lift more. Sit back.
So we're about to see Sonic, who is a stallion, and Aura, who's his daughter essentially, driving as a pair together. Sonic's the horse on the right with the flowing mane.